The text came in at 7:14 p.m. I was sitting in my truck outside the party supply store on Maple Avenue. Engine running, AC blasting against the August humidity. My phone buzzed against the cup holder. Unknown number. I picked it up. Read it once. Read it again. Do not go to my son's birthday party. No name. No explanation. Just that. 7 words that didn't make any sense. I almost laughed. Some prank. One of the guys from the job site messing with me. But the number wasn't in my contacts. No area code I recognized. I called it. Straight to voicemail. A generic female voice. Mailbox not set up. Burner phone. My thumb hovered over the delete button. I should have deleted it. Should have tossed the phone on the passenger seat and driven to Tom's house like nothing happened. But something stopped me. Something cold and small settled in my gut. I texted back. Who is this? No response. I sat there for 5 minutes. Watched the balloons bobbing in the store window. Blue and gold. Tom's colors. His son Leo was turning 8. I'd known that kid since he was a pink squalling thing wrapped in a hospital blanket. I'd held him. Changed his diaper once when Tom was in the bathroom. I was family. Not blood, but close enough. So why was some stranger telling me to stay away? I drove to Tom's house anyway. 15 minutes through the old neighborhood off Route 9. Colonial houses with white siding and blue shutters. Lawns that cost too much to maintain. Tom's house was at the end of the cul-de-sac. Cars lined both sides of the street. I parked 3 houses down and walked up the driveway. The party was in full swing. Bounce house in the front yard. Kids screaming. A fold-out table covered with chips and dip and a giant sheet cake with Happy Birthday Leo in gold icing. Tom spotted me from the grill. His face lit up. Frank, you made it. Get over here, man. He hugged me with one arm, spatula in the other. Smoke from the burgers curled around us. He smelled like charcoal and beer. Same Tom I'd known for 12 years. Same easy grin. Same laugh. Wouldn't miss it, I said. I handed him the gift bag. Leo's glove. The one he wanted. Perfect. He's gonna lose his mind. I looked around. The backyard was full of people. Neighbors. Coworkers. Emily's mom sitting on the porch swing. Kids running everywhere. And in the middle of it all, Leo. Tom's son. Dark hair, blue eyes, gap-toothed smile. He looked exactly like Tom. Exactly like Emily. He saw me and ran over. Uncle Frank, did you bring it? I held up the bag. Open it and see. He ripped the paper off. His eyes went wide when he saw the leather glove inside. Oh my God, this is the one. The exact one I wanted. Told you I'd get it. He hugged my legs. Hard. Then took off running to show his friends that I stood there. Beer in hand. Watching the party unfold. A normal Saturday. Balloons and burgers and laughing parents. Nothing strange. Nothing wrong. Then my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. Another text. You already made the mistake. Don't go into the backyard. I spun around. My heart kicked up. I looked at the fence. The trees. The neighbors' windows. Someone was watching me. Someone knew I was here. I typed back. Who the hell is this? No response. I should have left. Should have walked straight back to my truck and driven away. But I'm not built that way. I'm a contractor. I fix things. I dig down to find the rot. I can't walk away from a foundation crack. I walked into the backyard. The grass was dry under my boots. I made a slow lap around the perimeter. Pretended I was looking for the bathroom. Pretended I was checking out the landscaping. But I was watching. Waiting. Looking for anyone who didn't belong. That's when I noticed the shed. Tom's shed was an old thing. Red paint peeling off like scabs. A padlock on the door. I'd seen it 100 times. Never thought twice. But today the padlock was open. Just hanging there. Unlocked. I walked toward it. The noise from the party seemed to fade. The laughter became distant. I reached the door. Paused. Looked back at the house. Everyone was facing the other way. Watching the kids. Eating their burgers. I pulled the door open. The inside was dark and dusty. Garden tools. A lawnmower. A bag of fertilizer. Normal. But there was a rug on the floor. A woven rug that didn't belong in a tool shed. It was clean. Out of place. I lifted the corner with my boot. Underneath was a trapdoor. Metal ring. Flush with the floor. A lock on it. Opened. I crouched down. My knees popped. I grabbed the ring. Pulled up. The trapdoor swung up. A ladder went down into darkness. The smell hit me first. Stale air. Damp. Like a basement that never sees sunlight. Underneath that, something sweet. Fruity. Kids shampooed. I heard a sound. Faint. Coming from below, a child's voice. Singing. Soft and small. I pulled out my phone, turned on the flashlight, aimed it down. The light hit concrete walls. A small room, maybe 8 by 8. A cot in the corner. A blanket. A plastic stool with a half-eaten bowl of cereal. And a boy with dark hair. Skinny. Dressed in clothes that were too small. He was sitting on the cot, arms wrapped around his knees. Rocking. Singing a lullaby. I didn't recognize that he looked up at the light. Squinted. His face was dirty. His cheeks were wet. But I saw his eyes. Blue eyes. Emily's blue eyes. He looked like Tom. He looked like Leo. But he wasn't Leo. The boy spoke. His voice was hoarse, like he'd been crying for hours. Are you my dad? I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. I gripped the ladder. Hard. The wood cut into my palm. Who are you? I whispered. What's your name? The boy stared at me. His lip trembled. My name is Leo. Leo Thomas. My dad is Tom. He said he'd come back. He said I have to be good. My blood turned to ice. How long have you been down here? I don't know. A long time. Daddy brings me food. He reads me stories. He said I have to stay here because there's a bad man. A man who looks like me. Daddy says the bad man wants to hurt me. A man who looks like him. The boy upstairs. The other Leo. I climbed down into the room. Crouched in front of him. My knees aching. My hands shaking. Leo, listen to me. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm here to help. Can you tell me who brings you food? The boy blinked. The lady. The one with the red hair. She brings me cereal. She sings to me. Does she have a phone? He shook his head. She says phones are dangerous. She says the bad man uses phones to find people. The red-haired lady. Mrs. Delgado. Tom's neighbor. The one who kept to herself. The one who was always watching from her porch. I looked at the cot. The blanket. The bowl of cereal. This boy had been down here for weeks. Maybe months. Hidden. Forgotten. While the other Leo ran around in the sun, opening presents, eating cake. I climbed back up. Covered the trapdoor with the rug. Walked out of the shed. Closed the door. The padlock dangled. I snapped it shut. My phone buzzed again. I almost dropped it. Another text. Same numbered. I know what you found. Bring the boy to the back gate. Now. Or everyone at this party dies. I looked toward the fence. The back gate was at the far end of the yard. It was closed. But beyond it, I could see a shape. A man in a dark suit. Motionless. Watching. My heart hammered against my ribs. I had seconds to decide. Seconds to choose. I walked back to the house. Tom was cutting the cake. The other Leo was grinning, covered in blue frosting. I grabbed Tom's arm. Pulled him aside. We need to talk. Now. His face went pale. Frank, what's wrong? Your son, I said. The one in the shed. I found him. Tom's expression didn't change. Didn't flinch. Didn't deny it. His eyes just went dead. Flat. I leaned in close. I know about the twins. I know about Emily. I know about the money. Tom didn't speak. Just stared at me with those hollow eyes. I pulled out my phone. Opened the camera. I have pictures. I have proof. The cops are coming. You have about 3 minutes to tell me who that man is at the back gate. I pointed toward the fence. Tom's gaze followed my finger. When he saw the black-suited figure, his face shifted. Something crossed his features. Not fear. Not anger. Terror. Frank, he whispered. You have to listen to me. That man isn't here for the boys. He's here for me. He always has been. My hands shook. Who is he? Tom grabbed my wrist. His grip was desperate. The man who paid for Leo. The one who bought him. He's been waiting all this time. Waiting for me to make a mistake. And now he knows. He wasn't always like this. There was a time when I believed in things. Believed in family. Believed that if you gave enough, sacrificed enough, bled enough, it would come back to you. That was the lie I told myself for 23 years. I met Susan when we were both 19. She was behind the counter at a diner off Route 9. I was a framer's apprentice with dirt under my nails and nothing in my wallet. She had this laugh that filled the whole room. I knew, right then, that I would spend my life trying to earn that laugh. And I did. God, I did. We got married in a courthouse. No flowers. No photographer. Just the two of us and a justice of the peace who smelled like cigarettes. I promised her everything. I broke my back trying to deliver 16-hour days. 7 days a week. I framed houses in the summer heat and the winter freeze. I poured concrete until my hands bled through the gloves. I took every job nobody else wanted. The ones with bad foundations. The ones in flood zones. The ones that would break a younger man's spirit. I did it for her. For the house I was going to build her. For the life I was going to give her. She got pregnant with Jason when we were 23. I was working 2 jobs by then. Framing during the day, bussing tables at a steakhouse at night. I'd come home at 2 in the morning, reeking of grease, and she'd be asleep. I'd crawl into bed beside her and press my hand against her stomach and whisper promises to the baby I couldn't feel, yet that Jason was born on a Tuesday. C-section. Susan was so tired. I held him first. This tiny, wrinkled thing with my wife's nose and my chin. I cried. Right there in the delivery room. The nurse handed me a tissue. I thought that was the start of everything. The start of the family I'd been building toward. I was wrong. Jason didn't look like me. Not really. He had Susan's eyes, her smile. But he had my stubbornness. My temper. We butted heads from the moment he could talk. He wanted things I couldn't give him. The new bike. The video game system. The name-brand sneakers that cost a week's paycheck. I'd come home exhausted, covered in dust and sweat, and he'd look at me like I was a stranger. Like I was the guy who didn't measure up. I tried to talk to him. Try to explain. But he didn't want to hear it. He's just a kid, Susan would say. He'll come around. But he never did. Susan changed too. Slow at first. Little things. She stopped coming to the door when I got home. Stopped asking about my day. Stopped making my coffee in the morning. I told myself she was tired. Tired from the baby. Tired from the house. Tired from life. I worked harder. I thought if I just brought in more money, if I just fixed the broken fence, the leaky faucet, the cracked driveway, she'd see. She'd remember why she married me. I bought her a diamond ring on our 10th anniversary. Cost me 5 months of overtime. I put it in a velvet box and handed it to her across the dinner table. She opened it, nodded, said it's pretty, put it on her finger, never looked at it again. I told myself I was being selfish. She was a mother. She had responsibilities. She couldn't spend all her time fawning over me. I was a grown man. I could handle it, but it wasn't just the little things anymore. It was the silences. The long, empty silences at dinner. The way she'd turn the TV up when I tried to talk. The way she'd look at me sometimes, like she was looking through me. Like I wasn't even there. The kids got older. Jason left for college. Didn't call. Didn't visit. I sent him money every month. The max I could afford. I told myself he was busy. Busy with classes. Busy with friends. Busy building his life. That he got married. Didn't invite me. I saw the photos on Facebook. Susan was there. Front row. Smiling. I asked her why she didn't tell me. She shrugged. Said Jason wanted a small ceremony. I didn't cry. I wanted to. But I didn't. I went back to work. Framed more houses. Poured more concrete. Kept my head down and my hands busy. I told myself that was what men did. Worked. Provided. Endured. My own father was the same way. Silent. Distant. He came home. Ate dinner. Watched the news. Went to bed. My mother did everything else. I swore I wouldn't be that man. I swore I'd be present. I swore I'd show up. I showed up. I always showed up. But nobody was looking. Susan's birthday. I took her to the fancy steakhouse downtown. The one with the white tablecloths and the sommelier. I'd been saving for 3 months. She spent the whole dinner on her phone. Texting. Laughing at something on the screen. I asked her who she was talking to. She said friends. Just friends. She put the phone away when the food came. But the damage was done. I paid the bill. Drove her home. Lay in bed beside her. Staring at the ceiling. Wondering when I'd become invisible. I found the texts by accident. She left her phone on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping. I was just trying to find the number for the plumber. Her screen lit up. A message from a number I didn't recognize. Miss you too. Tonight was perfect. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. I was too afraid of what I'd hear. So I buried it. Buried it like the cracked pipes and the broken beams and all the rot I'd ever found in a foundation. I covered it up and pretended it wasn't there. She left me 3 years later. Said she needed space. Said she needed to find herself. She moved to a condo on the other side of town. Sold my house. Kept the money. I didn't fight it. I didn't fight any of it. I moved into a small rental. A 1-bedroom with a leaky ceiling and a landlord who didn't care. I kept working. Kept building other people's houses. Kept pouring foundations for families I'd never meet. I stopped answering my phone on Sundays. That was my day. The only day I allowed myself to feel nothing. I don't know when I stopped hoping. Somewhere along the line, hope just leaked out of me. Like air from a slow tire. You don't notice until you're riding on the rim. So when that text came in on my phone, the stranger's warning, my first reaction wasn't curiosity or even concern. It was exhaustion. I've been tired for 23 years. I've been tired of warnings and threats and demands that I show up and perform and pretend everything is fine. I think that's why I went to the party. Not because I was brave. Not because I didn't believe the warning. But because I was too worn out to be scared. Too hollow to turn away. I'd spent so many years showing up to things where I wasn't wanted that one more felt no different. Tom was the only person who'd called me on my birthday in the last 5 years. Tom was the only person who'd asked me to his table, asked me to his kid's party, asked me to be part of his world. Maybe he was faking it. Maybe he had secrets that made Emily's secrets look small. But he showed me kindness when the rest of the world had looked away. That's why I was standing in his backyard, staring into a trapdoor at a boy who looked like his son. That's why I couldn't walk away. Not because I was a hero, but because I was so tired of being a ghost in my own life. Tired of watching things fall apart without ever reaching out to catch them. I had spent my whole life loving people who didn't love me back, working for people who didn't see me, believing in futures that never came. The text had tried to warn me. The stranger had tried to save me from what I was walking into. But I had nothing left to lose. I didn't tell Tom what I'd found. Not yet. I played along, smiled, nodded, took the plate of cake he handed me. The other Leo was running around with his friends, blue frosting smeared across his cheek. He looked happy, genuinely happy. I watched him and felt something twist in my chest. I ate the cake, tasted nothing, drank the beer, felt nothing. My phone stayed in my pocket, silent. No more texts. The stranger had gone quiet. I wondered if Mrs. Delgado had seen me go into the shed. I wondered if she'd been watching from her window, waiting for me to fall apart. That I didn't fall apart. I held it together. That's what I'd learned over 23 years of being ignored. How to keep your face neutral when your guts are screaming. How to laugh at the right moments. How to nod at the right times. How to disappear in plain sight. I waited until the party wound down. Until the parents started packing up their kids. Until the bounce house deflated and the last of the potato salad was scraped into the trash. I helped Tom carry chairs back to the garage. I helped him stack the coolers. I worked alongside him like I had 100 times before. Like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. When the last guest left, Tom stood in the driveway, hands on his hips, exhausted, happy. He looked at me. You sticking around? I was going to open a bottle of whiskey. Sure, I said. Sounds good. He led me to the back porch. The sun was going down. The sky was that deep purple you only get in late summer. We sat in the same chairs we'd sat in 100 times before. He poured 2 glasses, handed me one. Leo had a great time, he said. Thanks for coming. Means a lot to him. Means a lot to me. I took the glass, held it. Didn't drink, I said. I got a weird text before I came here. Someone telling me not to come. Told me not to go into the backyard. Tom's hand froze over his glass. Just for a second. Then he laughed. Probably one of Emily's old friends. They still think I'm the bad guy. You know how it is. People talk. I know how it is. I took a sip. The whiskey burned my throat. I let it sit there. Tom leaned back in his chair, stared at the yard, at the oak tree, at the fence. His face was calm, relaxed, like a man with no secrets. Frank, he said, we've known each other a long time. 12 years. That's not nothing. It's not nothing. So, I'm going to be straight with you. I know you went into the shed. I didn't flinch. I'd been preparing for this. I kept my face still. Yeah, I was looking for a ladder. Yours is better than mine. Tom laughed again, but this time it was tighter. You saw the trapdoor. I saw a rug. Frank, please. I'm not stupid. I set the glass down, looked at him, then tell me what's in there. Tom was quiet for a long time. He swirled the whiskey in his glass, watched the amber liquid catch the last of the light. Then he set the glass down too. Leo was sick, he said. When he was born, he had complications. Emily almost died. The doctors said he might not make it. They said there was a chance of brain damage, a chance he'd never be normal. I couldn't handle that. I wasn't ready to be a single father to a child who needed that kind of care. Leo's not sick. No, he's not. But I didn't know that at the time. I made a deal. A man came to me. He said he could fix it. He said he could get me a healthy child. A perfect child. He said I could trade. Trade. I didn't know. I swear to God, Frank, I didn't know he had a twin. I didn't know Emily was carrying 2. He told me I'd get a boy. A real boy. A healthy boy. I thought the original one was going to die anyway. I thought I was saving Emily from a lifetime of grief. But he didn't die. He was born perfectly healthy. Both of them were. The man took one and left the other. He said that was the deal. I'd get one boy. He'd get one boy. No one would ever know. I stared at him. How long have you known? Tom's eyes were wet. I found out 2 years ago, when Emily was dying. She told me. She said she'd seen the nurse take him. She said she knew. I told her she was wrong. I told her she was confused. I was trying to protect her. I didn't want her to die knowing what I'd done. Where's the other boy now, the one the man took? Tom shook his head. I don't know. The man died. Car accident. The boy went somewhere. Adoption. Foster care. I never knew. But they found me. The people who bought him. They want him back. They want the twin. They want to replace the one they lost. The boy died. Last year. Some kind of illness. They want another one. They think Leo is theirs. And they're coming. I picked my glass up again. Drained it. The whiskey hit my empty stomach like a punch. When tonight. After the party. That's what the text was about. The one you got. They sent a warning to everyone. They didn't want anyone else involved. I put the glass down. Stood up. Walked to the edge of the porch. Looked out at the yard. At the shed. At the trapdoor that hid a little boy who had no idea what was happening. You're going to give him to them. I have no choice. They'll hurt Leo. The real Leo. The one upstairs. If I don't give them the twin. Your own son, Tom. You're going to hand over your own son. Tom buried his face in his hands. His shoulders shook. I know what it sounds like. I know what you think of me. I've been living with this for 12 years. 12 years of looking at my son and knowing he's not the one I made. 12 years of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I didn't ask for this. I made one mistake when I was desperate and alone, and I've been paying for it ever since. I didn't say anything. I just stood there, watching him break down, watching the man who had been my only friend fall apart in front of me. I'll help you, I said. Tom looked up. His face was a mess of tears and disbelief. What? I'll help you. But we do it my way. No trading. No handoffs. We get rid of the people who are coming. We protect both boys. How there's a man in a black suit standing outside my gate. He's probably got others. Guns. Money. Power. We're two old contractors with bad backs and nothing to lose. I knelt down in front of him, grabbed his shoulders, held him steady. Exactly, I said. We have nothing to lose. I stood up, walked to the edge of the porch. The sky was almost dark now. The purple had bled into black. Somewhere in the distance, a dog was barking. I looked at the back gate. The man in the black suit was still there, motionless, waiting. How many? I asked. Tom wiped his face with the back of his hand. I don't know. 3, maybe 4. They've been watching the house for weeks. They know about Leo. They know about the shed. They know everything. They know you kept the twin. They know. That's why they're here. The man who bought the boy, his name was Deacon. He was part of something bigger. A network. They take babies from desperate people and sell them to rich couples who can't have kids. It's not just one operation. It's a machine. And Deacon was just a cog. When he died, the people above him took over. They saw the records. They saw my name. And they want the twin. They want a replacement. The boy who died was the one they raised. He was the product. Now the product is gone. They need another one. They don't care which Leo they get. They just want a boy who looks like him. The twin is a backup. A spare part. My jaw tightened. I'd spent my whole life being a spare part. The guy who showed up when no one else would. The guy who fixed the broken things. The guy who was always available but never chosen. I knew exactly what it felt like to be a spare part. And I knew I wasn't going to let that happen to a child. Here's what we're going to do, I said. You're going to go to the gate. You're going to tell them you'll cooperate. You need more time. Tell them you need to get the boy ready. Tell them it's not safe to move him at night. Say you'll do it at dawn. Tom shook his head. They'll never buy that. They'll buy it because they have no choice. They need the boy alive. They need him healthy. They're not going to risk a nighttime extraction that ends with a scared kid running into the woods. They'll wait. And then what? Then I take the other Leo. The one upstairs. I get him out of the house. I take him to a safe place. You stay here with the twin. You keep them focused on you. When dawn comes, you stall again. Keep stalling until I tell you to stop. Where are you taking Leo? I didn't answer. I was already walking toward the house that the back door opened. I stepped inside. The kitchen was dark. The cake was gone. The paper plates were stacked in the trash. I walked down the hallway. Up the stairs. The floorboards creaked under my weight. I was a big man. My father used to say I walked like a bulldozer. That had never been a compliment that I stopped at Leo's door. The real Leo. The one upstairs. The one Tom had raised. The one who had just turned 8 and had no idea any of this was real. I knocked. Soft, Leo. It's Uncle Frank. The door opened a crack. Leo's face appeared. He wasn't scared. Not yet. He looked confused. Half asleep in his pajamas. He'd changed out of his party clothes. He had a smear of blue frosting on his neck that he'd missed in the bath. Uncle Frank? Is something wrong? No, bud. Everything's fine. I just need you to come with me for a little bit. It's a surprise. Your dad and I planned something special. His eyes lit up. Like a nighttime adventure? Exactly like a nighttime adventure. But you have to be quiet. And you have to do exactly what I say. Can you do that? He nodded. Serious. Solemn. I love that kid. He didn't know it. But I loved him like my own. I took his hand. Led him down the stairs. Through the kitchen. Out the back door. Tom was still on the porch. He saw us and his face went pale. I gave him a look. Don't say anything. Don't break. He held it together. Where are you going? Tom asked. His voice was strained. But he kept it even. Back to the truck, I said. I left my phone. Leo's gonna help me find it. Leo looked up at me. You lost your phone? I did, buddy. Old man problems. Tom nodded. Swallowed hard. Be careful. Always. I led Leo across the yard. Past the shed. Past the oak tree. To the side gate. I opened it slowly. Quietly. The man in black was still at the back gate. He turned his head. Watched us. I held Leo's hand tighter. Picked up the pace that we got to the street. My truck was parked 3 houses down. I opened the passenger door. Helped Leo climb inside. Buckled him in. He was breathing fast. Excited. He thought it was a game. Okay, Leo. I need you to stay down. Put your head down. Don't look out the window. No matter what you hear, you don't come up. You don't make a sound. You got it. His excitement flickered. Something in my voice must have scared him. Uncle Frank. Are we in trouble? No, buddy. We're not in trouble. We're making sure trouble doesn't find us. That's all. He nodded. Slid down in the seat. Covered his head with his hands. I closed the door. Got in the driver's side. Started the engine. Pulled away from the curb. I didn't look in the rearview mirror. I couldn't. I knew what I'd see. The man in black walking toward Tom's house. And Tom, standing on the porch, waiting to buy me time. I drove for 10 minutes. Then I pulled over. I got out. Opened Leo's door. He was still down, hands over his head. Shaking. It's okay, Leo. You can sit up now. He sat up. His face was wet. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. But I need you to be brave. Are you brave? He sniffled. Wiped his nose with his sleeve. Yes. Good. I need to make some calls. Stay in the truck. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me. I'll be right back. I stepped away. Pulled out my phone. The battery was low. I had minutes. Maybe less. I dialed the number I knew by heart. The one I'd never used, but always kept. Marion County Sheriff's Office. How can I help? My name is Frank Morrison. I need to report a kidnapping. I have the victim in my vehicle. The suspect is still at the house. There are armed men on the property. I have evidence. Photos. Video. I can prove everything. Sir, are you in danger? I don't know. But there are children involved. 2 of them. One of them is still at the house. You need to send units now. We're dispatching. Stay on the line. Where's your location? I gave him the address. The house number. The gate. The shed. Everything. I gave him names. Tom Thomas. Mrs. Delgado. The man in black. The network. The dead baby. The twin. I gave him everything I had. The line went quiet for a second. We have units en route. ETA 10 minutes. Sir, you need to stay where you are. Do not approach the property. I'm not going anywhere near that house. But I'm not staying here either. I'm taking the boy to a safe location. I'll meet you at the station. Sir, I need you to stay. I hung up that I got back in the truck. Leo was watching me. His eyes were big. Scared. But he was holding it together. Just like his father. Just like Emily. Uncle Frank, he said. Is my dad okay? I didn't answer. I just put the truck in drive. Pulled back onto the road. The station was 10 minutes away. I could see the lights in the distance. Flashing. Blue and red. Coming toward us. I pulled over again. Stopped. Turned to Leo. Your dad's gonna be okay, I said. But I need you to tell the police everything. Everything you saw. Everything you heard. They're going to ask you questions. Some of them are going to be hard. But you have to tell the truth. All of it. What about the other boy? The one in the shed. My throat closed up. He's going to be okay too. I'm going to make sure of it. The police cars passed us. 3 of them. Lights flashing. Sirens screaming. They turned down Tom's street. I watched them go. Watched the red and blue wash over the houses. I got out of the truck again. Walked to the sidewalk. Watched the scene unfold. The police pulled up to Tom's house. They stormed the property. I saw the back gate burst open. I saw men in black suits running. I saw Tom raise his hands. And then I saw the shed. They pulled the trapdoor open. 2 officers climbed down. A few seconds later, they came up. One of them was carrying a small boy with dark hair and blue eyes. The real Leo. The twin. I started crying. Right there on the sidewalk. In front of the whole neighborhood. I didn't care. I'd been holding it together for 23 years. That was long enough.